right, Brews and Previews got to do the big fight this weekend. Canelo versus Plant, the road to undisputed. Both undefeated. Both, well, not undefeated. I'm sorry, Canelo lost to Mayweather, and Golovkin twice. But anyway, the road to the undisputed championship at 168, anyway, is what we're talking about. And big fight. Can't wait for it to happen. As you can see, Jimmy came and sits still up there about it. James is coming over. I'm buying it this time. So, Filthy Rich, you are invited to come over. Gee, thanks. You're coming. You're invited to come over this weekend too and watch it. It'll be a good time. Let's break it down here a little bit. I don't know who wants to break down what, but I'm just going to pick one here because of James's love for Tecate. He will break down Canelo, and then Filthy Rich, you will break down Caleb Plant and the ways to victory for both of them, and then we'll do predictions and stuff like that. So, Judge, we'll start with you, the Tecate King up there. What is Canelo's keys to victory against the longer, taller Plant?
Well, as most people say, when you're winning, you don't have to change anything. So he really doesn't have to change anything. He's going to come out and beat Canelo. The last two fights, if not three, I have said, oh, this other guy's got such a great shot at doing blah, blah, blah. I'm done. I'm done with that. Canelo's going to come out and do exactly what he did against BJS and exactly what he did against Callum Smith.
Break their eye sockets?
And he is going to dominate. I don't see something different happening with Caleb Plant. He's got his game plan down pat. Him and Eddie Reynoso just work it well. And I don't see Caleb Plant's style doing anything that may give Canelo any sort of an issue, with the exception of maybe he might have a more tough time hitting him, depending on what Caleb Plant's game plan is. So I'm interested to see what Rich says about that. But I don't think that Canelo is going to have much of a problem with this. He's going to do what he does, wait for his counter punches, sit on his back foot, and he's going to be precise, as he always is. And it's going to be brutal. And I just feel bad for Caleb Plant.
Do you predict a slow start for Canelo, though, as he kind of did against BJS?
It's kind of what he does. So, yeah, he's probably going to start slow and then pick it up in the middle rounds. And if it gets past, 9, it'll be, faster at that point. But I think that's probably a good call.
All right. Filthy Rich, what does Caleb Plant have to do to become the undisputed champion at 168 and knock Canelo off his road to trying to be the greatest?
I wish I had the credit for someone online who stated the 3 things anyone needs to do to beat Canelo. Number 1, you have to be a world-class boxer. I don't know if Caleb Plant is a world-class boxer, but he is probably a notch underneath. So he is very close to being world-class. Number 2, you have to have a steel chin. I don't know if Caleb Plant has a steel chin, but maybe he does. I don't know if his chin's been tested, but that is another thing you need to beat. What you need to beat, or at least survive with Canelo. And the third thing is you need to have bricks for fists. You need to be able to hit hard. And again, I don't know if Caleb Plant has that in him. Those are 3 things it takes to beat Canelo. Now, in this fight in particular, what will Caleb Plant need to do? The first thing I would say is frustrate Canelo. I think Saunders probably had, I don't know if it's the blueprint, but Saunders, I think we all remember the David Lemieux fight. He sat on that bicycle almost the entire fight, and I think that's what Caleb Plant needs to do. get on a bicycle. Now, I don't know if he's been training that way. He has hinted to I believe it was a boxing writer at Boxing 24/7 that he is prepared to be on his bicycle. So there's number one, frustrate Canelo by being on your bike. The second thing I would say is get those early rounds. If you can get those early rounds, that is going to put Canelo in a position where you will see the frustration come middle round. You'll probably get Caleb Plant will probably get booed by the crowd as Canelo is egging them on to, hey, boo this guy. He's running away from me. But this is what you have to do and get those early rounds by staying on your bicycle. And the third thing is be prepared to go 12. You're not going to knock Canelo out because talking about a steel chin, I think Canelo has a steel chin. So you're not going to knock this dude out. Stay on your bicycle the entire time. Frustrate him. And again, number 3, go the distance. You're going to have to beat this guy on rounds. And I think it is possible Caleb Plant can do this.
It'd be tough. Last time we saw Caleb Plant, me and James were in the fish house watching him fight Caleb Truex. And that was a frustrating fight for us being friends of Caleb Truex because Caleb didn't win a round, if I remember right, in that fight. But it wasn't really much of a fight where didn't really challenge Caleb Plant that much. It was almost like a glorified sparring session to watch. And very frustrating to watch. So we haven't really seen much of Caleb Plant fight. So we don't know what his... I mean, we've seen him fight, obviously, but we haven't seen him fight recently. That was his last fight, and that was back in January. Don't understand what the strategy is going to be. Referee is Russell Mora. Does that do anything for you guys? Any changes on who's going to be refereeing this fight? Your thoughts on it? No?
That should be a good ref.
No, I agree. He's a good ref, but sometimes you get the officials and you can go, hey, okay, this official does this thing one way or this way, the other thing. This is announced that Russell Mora is going to be the referee. Yeah, I don't know exactly where to go with this one. I'm worried that Caleb Plant's going to get his eye kicked in, but you guys do have to remember that Billy Joe Saunders was winning that fight. I felt at one point, probably after 4 or 5 rounds, he was winning that fight. He was doing well. Filthy Rich, you brought that up briefly a little bit, so maybe he goes that blueprint. I don't know. I think he's a different style than Billy Joe Saunders, though.
James, you okay? You running out of breath? What's going on?
I am running out of breath, man. I got stuff to say. All right, like it just.
Oh, you got stuff to say? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, did he make a blueprint? Maybe, right? BJS is a different style of fighter, right? He is somebody who's different. Now, Plant could technically try to do some of the same stuff, and if you go for it, like. I don't know if the IQ is the same, but I think BJS has a pretty good boxing IQ. He definitely has probably the same amount of power. I don't think they really have that much power for either fighter. But the other interesting thing for this, and now this could just be Canelo wanting to try to get under the skin of Plant, but he said for some reason that this is more personal of a fight than his Triple G rematch. So I think that's kind of a bold statement because I don't know where that's really coming from. I know they got in a little scuffle.
Said something about his mom. That's what it was.
Well, yeah. And I guess we still got to figure out. I still don't think he understands those 2 words in English, but that's beside the point. But I mean, other than that, this is interesting that Plant is very, very calm. However, I watched Jamal Herring be just as calm with Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur Stevenson destroyed him in the ring. So I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing for Plant. Obviously the bigger fighter, but yeah, I just want to put that in there that Canelo thinks that this is the biggest fight of his career to date.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I think that the Golovkin fights are bigger, but I see this fight going more of like a Colin Smith style fight. I think Caleb Plant's more like Colin Smith. I don't know if you guys agree on this, but kind of a longer longer fighter. This will probably go the distance. I think he'll probably actually go the Colin Smith route and try to win on points, like Filthy Rich is saying. Do you guys agree with that? He's more of a Colin Smith than a Billy Joe Saunders style, anyway.
I stick by what I said. I think Plant's more BJS.
Really? I think he's more of a Colin Smith. He's more.
Well, what does Rich think over there? What is
Rich
quiet,
think?
Rich?
What do you think?
Well, look, you have to prepare for the guy in front of you. When he fought Truex, that is not Canelo. Caleb Truex and Canelo are not the same fighter, so you don't need to prepare the same way. But if you're going to find a way to beat Canelo, I think we kind of touched on it that Saunders may have the blueprint. So imitate that kind of style. Saunders messed up by not moving. He tried to go toe to toe in like the 7th and 8th round, and that was it. But Canelo has to hit you in order to win rounds. And there is a chance that Caleb Plant Willie Peps this and wins a round without, or I guess that's not right. Maybe Canelo Willie Peps this by winning a round without throwing a single punch. I don't know. Whatever. I think I'm lost there. But now as far as Caleb Plant being more like Callum Smith versus Saunders, again, you just got to prepare for the guy in front of you. And Caleb Plant, he is very disciplined. I don't think he's one of these guys that is going to talk a big game to sell tickets. I think he has a game plan. He's going to stick to it. I think he's an underrated fighter, and I don't know how to compare him to someone else.
I'm going to say something here that you guys might go is ridiculous, but could the fact that he bleeds pretty easily, by sunglasses or whatever, have an effect in this fight? That maybe he opens up a cut too quickly, or he bleeds all over the place, and all of a sudden it gets stopped because he got cut. I mean, he was barely touched when that cut happened. I mean, what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I'm not going to acknowledge that you just said that.
James will. What do you think, James?
No, I don't think that means anything.
No, he's not a bleeder.
Man, I literally touched a piece of cardboard and all of a sudden I have a cut on my hand out of nowhere. So no, I don't think that means anything. I think it was just whatever. No.
All right.
He ain't a bleeder.
Well, just when we thought that Canelo was learning his English better, he definitely lost the term MFer, I think, when it came to that showdown or whatever it was. He's talking about my mother. No, he's not. But we get into the prediction segment now. It's time for prediction, boys. Canelo was going over at a minus 834. Caleb Plant is a 6.5 to 1 underdog. So 100 gets you 654. And you have to wager 834 to win 100 on Canelo. The over-under is 9.5 rounds. So Vegas is saying that there will probably be a knockout in this fight. So I'm curious to see what your guys' predictions are. Judge Jimmy James, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit more difficult because I think Plant has better defense. I think BJS had good defense too. He just got caught by a shot, which does happen. I am going to say that the same thing is going to happen to Plant, that he's going to get caught by a shot. Given the little scuffle in the press conference a while ago. So I believe that it will be Canelo in 11 by a TKO.
So broken eye socket in 11?
No, I didn't say that. I said a TKO. TKO, that's it. That's all you get.
If you said broken eye socket and that happened, that would be an amazing prediction. All right, Filthy Rich, what do you think? He says TKO in 11 for Canelo.
Look, I want to take Plant, and
wow,
I know Andre Ward took Plant.
Friend of the show.
But I don't. Okay, I don't think Plant is going to win. I'm just going to go with it's going to be a draw.
Wow.
I'm going to go with maybe majority draw. I think it'll be
calling a draw. Wow.
I'm going to say it's going to be a majority draw. I think there's going to be two judges score probably 114 apiece. And I think the other judge will probably give it to Canelo. So I'm
119, 110.
Well,
yeah, probably.
It's time for you to bet in Vegas then, Filthy Rich, because draw is 18-1 right now. So that's a pretty good money laying right there. I'm going to go with Canelo Alvarez is going to win by knockout. I think he's going to knock him down. I'm going to predict that he knocks him down in the 5th and then also knocks him down in the 7th and finishes him off in the 8th by referee stoppage in the 8th is what I'm going to go with. Canelo wins by referee stoppage in the 8th. I feel like once he turns it on, he's going to turn it on probably about the 4th round. And I'm still doing my prediction, Rich.
Oh, can you hear me? Oops.
Oh, man, I don't have my mute powers because somebody took them from me to record this. But, yeah, I think Canelo is going to turn it on in the 4th, knock him down in the 5th, knock him again in the 7th, and go for blood in the 8th and win by referee stoppage in the 8th. That's my prediction. So I got Canelo by ref stoppage in the 8th. James has got Canelo TKO in the 11th, and Filthy Rich says a draw. So take your bets to the window. A majority draw. So take your bets to the window. That's what we're doing. Keep in mind that we're filming this on Thursday. So if you watch this past fight, that's exactly what happens. And plus, with our pound for pound coming up, this is all pre-fight. So obviously, if Caleb Plant wins, our pound for pound rankings are probably going to be a little messed up if you watch it. So, all right, that is our prediction for this week, this big fight. So make sure you watch it. Probably the biggest fight left this year, I would imagine. So make sure you buy it, support boxing, get your friends together and watch it. You don't think so? That's not.
You need to go back and watch the last week's episode, Raider. Let's move on.
Well, I'm saying this is the biggest fight left this year.
I think Crawford Porter is probably a bigger one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Canelo. Canelo sells tickets, man. That's what.
Ain't nobody got time for this.
All right, fine, whatever.
All right,
let's get to our pound for pound.